I am Dolley Madison, née Dolley Payne, and I had the honor of serving as First Lady of the United States while my husband, James Madison, was president. However, my story as a leading figure in our young nation did not end in 1817 when we left the White House. The years that followed were also rich with experiences and trials. In 1817, when James and I left Washington to return to our estate in Montpelier, I devoted myself fully to our home and farm. I oversaw the operations of the estate while continuing to entertain distinguished visitors and cultivate social relationships across the country. My role did not end with the domestic sphere. I remained a wise advisor to James, including in the preparation of his memoirs and the preservation of the founding documents of our republic. The early years of our retirement were peaceful, but they were marked by events that were close to my heart. I became involved in social causes, including raising money for the First Relief Organization in Washington, D.C., to help orphans and the poor. My love of entertaining and socializing never left me. I still hosted dinners and events in Montpelier, transforming our home into a center for intellectual and political discussion. Life was not without its challenges, however. Managing Montpelier's finances became increasingly difficult. My son from my first marriage, John Payne Todd, was a constant source of worry. His penchant for excess and debt was a heavy burden on James and me. We often had to use our resources to deal with his problems, putting our property at risk. Despite these challenges, I remained a respected and admired figure. My years in the White House had left an indelible mark. People remembered me for my role in the War of 1812, when I saved George Washington's portrait as British troops approached to burn the city. They also appreciated my ability to transform state receptions into warm, inclusive events that strengthened the national spirit. In 1820, when political tensions were high in Washington, I remained an influential broker. Politicians and diplomats continued to seek my advice and support, convinced of my influence in the circles of power. I had always believed in the importance of building bridges between political factions, and I did my best to encourage dialogue and understanding. When James died in 1836, a part of me died with him. But I knew it was my duty to perpetuate his legacy. I sold James's papers to the government to ensure that his contributions would be preserved for future generations. I also continued to be active in public life, returning to Washington, D.C., where I was welcomed as an iconic figure in American history. Those years from 1817 to 1825 were marked by a transition from First Lady to guardian of a legacy. Although life was sometimes difficult, I remained faithful to my role as an unwavering supporter of James, my family, and my nation. My name is Dolley Madison, and my story is that of a woman devoted to the ideal of a strong and united America.